3 days after the Razak's arrival, Roran found himself pacing uncontrollably along the edge of his camp in the spine. Book 2, Eldest. Chapter 11, Hammer and Tongs, and Chapter 12, Retaliation. Welcome to Eragon and Back Again, a podcast where we explore Christopher Paolini's inheritance cycle, chapter by chapter. I'm Darien Smartt.
And I'm Lucy Hart.
We're back with Roran.
We're back with Roran.
Hey, things are not good.
No.
Oh, no. Things are not good.
I do feel like from Eragon, we come from like a low stakes, kind of not really a lot's going on, getting a lot of world stuff. And then Rowan is like, oh my God, everything is happening. And it's really bad.
Actively like deteriorating around him. Like his whole world is coming apart at the seams.
For sure.
And Eragon's like, time for a new adventure. Which is like obviously not the vibe. He's not just like, haha, I'm going to chain with the elves. Like he is like as we dissected in the last like episode. He is like there is a sense of like weight to this and uncertainty, right? But it is like someone is having an easier time of it. And it is in fact the boy with the dragon.
Yes, for sure.
But before we get into any of that, Lucy, do you have a spark of inspiration?
Oh no. I knew it was coming.
You want me to go first?
Yes, please.
I can go first. I want to shout out Claribel A. Ortega's Witchling series, which I have talked about before because I listened to the first 2 books a while ago. The third one came out some time ago, and I was like, ooh, I wonder if it's on Libby now. And it is. And I got to listen to an audiobook.
Oh, excellent.
And so just once again, I want to shout out this lovely, like, fun, magical witch series.
That's awesome.
Definitely if you've got a kid who's into magic and you're like, I don't necessarily want to give you that other young children learning how to be witches and wizards book.
Yep.
This one is great.
Yes.
I've talked all about what makes it great in the past, so I won't like reiterate those points, but I was listening to this 3rd book. And like part of the concept is like, oh, every year you have like the new witches that have just turned 12. They all get sorted into their coven houses, but there are always witches who are the spares, like the leftover witches who don't end up in a house and they don't have a coven house and they're really like cast out in society and they don't have any like support systems or things like that. And so I'm listening to this book, and this book in particular like really, really doubles down on how horrible it is for these characters. Because like in this, spoilers for this book, like, oh, it's time for the new coven ceremony and every single witchling is made a spare. And like, this has never happened before. What the hell is going on? Like, this is crazy. This isn't supposed to happen. They are supposed to be evenly divided up into the houses. So what is happening? And so we get like, spares have like no rights, and they're actively having like laws put in place that are stripping what little rights they have. Like they aren't allowed to go to school if they don't live in the village. If your parents abandon you, which apparently happens all the time, and there's no legal ramifications to that. Like parents can just leave their child if they're a spare and just move somewhere else. We see this happen to one of the characters. There are people who like, you are a threat to us. Like you can only work if we give you permission to do so. And I was like, well, I'm listening to this and I'm like, okay, but why is the society like this? Like, what is it about the spares that they are able to get away with this? And here's the thing. It took me way too long to realize it's an allegory for the way people are like racist and homophobic. And I'm like, God, that took me way too fucking long to realize that there doesn't need to be a reason. Like I was waiting for like some sort of like world building, like this is how we've managed to successfully scapegoat by blaming X, Y, Z on them. But like the point is there's not. Like there is no historical reason for this to be justified in any way. It's just allowed because it's always been this way. And so it's like, it is like seeing like parents. And the kids can't change this. There's nothing about this that the kids can change. Like, they didn't ask for this. There's no way to switch to another house. Like, this is a thing about them that the universe is like, this is who you are. And so it is like, oh, parents just being... And it was when we got to a scene where a girl just found out that her parents have abandoned her. And she's like 12 at this school. And I'm like, what the fuck? And and they even say like there should be a rule, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. It's like literally like, oh, parents can just kick their kids out of the house for being gay. Like, and that is a thing that happens all the time. And then, oh, now you can't go to school here anymore because you don't live in the village because your parents abandoned you. And now there are literally like police forces coming to arrest this 12-year-old and throw her in this horrible prison system. Because I was like, oh, that took me so long, too long, and I'm a grown-up, to realize that that's what the allegory was. And it's not a one-to-one. Like, there are things you find, you actually learn, like, the secret of, like, the truth of the spares in this book. And it is, of course, the allegory still works because it is like, why is this society, why are these groups scapegoated so much? Well, it's because the ultra wealthy have turned them into scapegoats to consolidate their power and control.
Yeah.
And that is like literally, so no spoilers for that because the way it plays, I was like, oh, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I don't want to spoil that, but it's called House of the Elephant. And all the coven houses are like House of Moth, House of Goose. And you're like, there is no House of Elephant. So what could the title mean?
Yeah.
So I just found that like very impressive and how much the author is doing without, I mean, it feels like it's a lot, but it's not like, do you get it? Do you get it? Because it took me too long to catch on what the allegory was.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean it was unsuccessful. Because I think like you would, by the time I finally clicked, I was like, oh, and I think as a younger person realizing like, wait, these people are being mistreated for no reason, and we're just taking away their laws and making them out to be terrible for like no reason, because there is no reason. It's just society has said they're wrong, they're dangerous to they're just othered because they're not like us. Yeah, is literally what it boils down to. And so it's like my spark of inspiration was like, that was just really good. Yeah, and it, clearly the intent. And again, the fact that I didn't catch on to it, like I got that, oh, this is a message about like how systems can be unkind to those that are not, who are othered, but it took me way too long to realize, oh no, this is like specifically about a specific group of people that are being targeted and that are being harmed and that are having their rights and their history taken away from them. Yep. And also it's just very charming. The book series is super sweet. I mean, I'm so worried. I know it's going to be okay in the end because it's a kid's series. Yeah. But the cliffhanger from this last book stressed me the fuck out. The cliffhanger from the one before it stressed me the fuck out. But yeah, Witchlings by Claribel A. Ortega. I can't recommend it enough. It is a delight. I've enjoyed listening to it on audiobook. It's not like the greatest piece of media ever, but it's like not supposed to be. It's supposed to be what it is, and it's highly successful for what it is. And it's one that, again, if you've got young people in your life that like fantasy and magic stories, I cannot recommend this enough. Yeah. I think it's successful in what it is doing. The characters and their individual growth and personalities are very like endearing, and like outside of it being about things, it's a successful story. That's awesome. The fact that it is about things is integral to it and very important. So
I like that.
Yeah, just
wonderful.
books that are about things is very good. And listen, and also books that have a theme and like a metaphor that's not actively beating you over the head with it to the point where you're just like, damn, I'm 31 years old and it took me way too long to realize what this was specifically about and not the general vibe. Yeah. Okay.
My spark of inspiration.
Lucy!
I was trying to think while you were talking about yours, but I also wanted to listen while you were talking about yours.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I think I'm just gonna kind of a little bit piggyback off of what yours was for last episode. Is just going to Gem State. Yeah. And just it was really inspiring to see like all the people and all the art and like recognizing cosplays, and I'm like, I haven't done that in a really long time. Yeah. So it was really fun to like get into it again. I wanted to dress up, but the two cosplays I wanted to dress up were in shorts. I was thinking about doing Ash. Because I was like, that's easy. Just, I don't have to do my eyebrows. Yeah. Or Toph, which again, also, but both of those characters wear shorts.
It was cold and it was rainy.
I was like, no, not going to do that. But what I should have done is I should have worn my Sims diamond is what I should have done. That would have been so funny. Although the rain might have ruined my diamond because it is made out of paper. Oh, so yeah. So might have ruined that. But I'm like, it still would have been really fun to have done that. Yeah. But I think just like the spark of inspiration is just seeing like people with similar interest having fun in one spot. And that's always just like, I'm so glad I'm here and just enjoying myself. And I don't know if that's like a spark of inspiration, but I felt very happy there. And it did make me want to go back and like do participate more in conventions that I have. Yeah. So, and hopefully not spend as much money.
I think the reason we went so hard is because it had been so long.
It had been so long, yeah. I do know my very first convention I ever went to was when I had big girl money, and I spent over $400 on my
You didn't spend $400? Probably.
I probably spent more than that, honestly.
Well, you know what? It's fine.
It felt like I did. I might not have, but because the first time I went freaking ham. I was like this. But this time around, I was just like art, art,
and dice.
Yes, art and dice. Yeah, no, it was really cool, and it made me want to cosplay again.
Yeah, yeah.
Next time, definitely gonna be a Sims for sure because I think that's hilarious.
But yeah, I was so glad you were able to go, Liz. I had such fun getting to hang
really
out
fun.
at gym.
It was really fun to like just be with friends too.
Yeah.
It was very fun to see everybody.
Good. Man, you know who we're never going to see again? Quimbley. Is that it? Is that who gets
soon. It was Quimby.
Quimby. It's not Ramona Quimbley. It's Quimby.
And
yeah, hey, damn, what the
there's also, since we're combining chapters, there's Quimby, there's Paw, and there's a couple other people, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's rough.
I guess I should read the synopsis first.
Yes, let's jump into that first.
Hammer and Tongs. 3 days have passed since Roran hid himself away in the woods outside of Carvajal. The Razak and the soldiers remain, growing ever more disrespectful to the village. One of the villagers, Quimby, is killed by a soldier and his body devoured by the Razak. Soon after, Carvajal comes close to going up in a blaze due to a soldier's insolence. Roran is called back to Carvajal to join in the effort to drive the invaders away. Retaliation. In the cover of night, the people of Carvajal attack the soldiers' encampment, successfully forcing them to flee. The villagers begin to make preparations to fortify the town when the Razak return and attack with magic. Roran is able to successfully rally the town and drive the attackers away, but before the Razak flee, they give the villagers a cruel choice. Give Roran up and be sold into slavery, or protect him and die. It's not a great negotiation.
It's not a great negotiation. Honestly, they should have. I was actually thinking about that. I re-listened to the chapters this morning, and I was listening, and I know this is like at the end of the chapter, but I'm like, they should have just lied. They're like, if you give him up, we'll let you free. And then if we'll
live in peace.
Yeah, live in peace. And if you give him up, if you protect him, you'll all die. And then they find out, like, do you really think they're going to let us in peace? Abso-fucking-lutely not. No. They're not going to.
I think it's more just like, this is just demonstrating the Razak are so inhuman. Okay, can we talk? Okay, here's the thing that has stuck with me forever.
Yeah.
Forever. And I was like, it's a thing that stuck with me to the point where I'm like, was never sure where it was from.
Yeah.
Like, what was the book? Because as a kid, I was one of the, I just read and read and read. Yeah, there's so many books that, like, you could ask me, like, did you read this book? And I bet I'd say, oh, no, I've never read that. But then if I were to start reading it, I'd be like, oh, I do remember reading this book. There's just so many, like, books you would pick up when you're, like, a reader kid in your, like, small school library that you're just eventually waiting for a new book in the series you are reading to come out, and you're just grabbing every single one. So the someone's body being eaten and the bones being broken to get the marrow out is, like, a thing that has stuck with me for my whole life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure that was the Razak in one of the Eragon books. Like, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's this, especially when like, yeah, the Razak are super monsters. But like, again, I was never 100% sure where it was.
Yeah.
So re-encountering it here, I was like, oh yeah, it was this.
Yeah, it was this.
But like, oh my gosh, like marrow is a thing you can eat. Like, yes, it is a thing. Like, I can't imagine eating marrow. Even when it's like beef bones at like a Mexican restaurant, you're getting like bone marrow tacos. Like, I cannot. I could not physically even try it as a delicacy because of the visceral experience I had as like a 13-year-old reading that passage. Like, I don't just jump in like right into the middle of this first chapter, but oh my god.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that's like what I like about the first chapter is that just like kind of leading into that is like, oh, Eragon's just like waiting and he's just not really doing anything. And then Roran, yes. Roran's waiting around, not doing anything. He's basically pacing a like groove into this place. And then Baldur comes to visit him, and Baldur suggests, hey, you should consider giving yourself up. And he goes, no, I'm not going to do that. But he's also debating. He's like, I do not want to give myself up. I'd rather like hang myself than do that. So,
but he's also like, I don't want the village.
I don't want the village to be hurt because of me. So he's thinking about like, maybe I could run. And he's like, I can't really do it. Eragon is better at it than I am. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was thinking, just before Baldur approached it, the thing that gets him into it is he mentions how they Razak questioned Katrina.
Yes.
And I think he goes into like, perhaps you should consider giving yourself up. And I want to like give credit to Baldur because he's not saying this flippantly. Yes. He is telling him like, hey, they questioned Katrina, who you love.
Yes.
Like, we are all scared it's going to get worse. Like, she has this great line of like, oh, is she okay? It will take more than the two of those to scare her.
Which I love.
I love her because she's like, I'm fucking fine. But like, that is the fear of like, what if something happened to her during that questioning? It's like they're not saying like, you should just do this because it's the right thing or flippantly. Baldur brings it to the point of being like, hey man, like, what if things do get worse?
Yes.
Over the course of the chapter, we see them get worse, but we see attitudes change, and we'll save to that. But like, continue on. He's like, I'd rather hang myself. I can't run because Eragon could do it, but not me.
Yeah, two Razak and 30 men. He's like, Eragon could do it. And
you also like how highly he thinks of Eragon and his skills.
Yep, and also Eragon has done it.
Actually, he's literally done this exact thing.
And done that.
And I love he's just like, not even Eragon could probably do it. Perhaps he's not a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Eragon could get away from them, but I can't do that. I don't have those same skills, which is true. And this is also the course of these two chapters, we see where Roran's skills lie.
Yes,
they are not the same place that Eragon's skills are.
For sure, absolutely. And then that's when he says, he's like, I don't want anyone to be hurt on my behalf. I'll wait for now, and if the Razak grow impatient and threaten someone, well, then I'll think of something else to do. So he isn't like, I think if Roran was backed into a corner enough, he would have given himself up. I think he would have, because I just think he is the type of person that if there were no other options, he would do that. But if there are options, like right now, he's like, I could run. Like that is an option for him to do.
And they haven't threatened anybody yet.
No, they haven't.
They haven't threatened anybody to be like, tell us where he's at. They questioned Katrina because they found that they're close. And like, where do you think he'd go? But they haven't like threatened anybody. They're still just waiting.
For sure. Yeah.
And he's like, it's a nasty situation all around. And then Roran says, one I intend to survive. And I like that line for Roran. We're getting his headspace. He's like, I'm gonna survive.
Yes, I want
to survive. And survival can mean anything.
A lot of things.
But it means it can call, I guess that's not, it can call for a lot of things.
Yes.
And it can be horrible.
Yep.
And it can be hard. But the fact that he's like, I'm going to survive this.
Yep.
Whatever this is, I'm going to survive it.
Yep.
That's really metal.
For
actually.
sure.
That's
it really
metal.
is. It's really good. And then later that night, there's a bunch of like lanterns like that bunch up in the village center and then float over to the camp. And they're there for 2 hours and then they disperse. And then the next day, Carvajal's in like a weird, unusual activity, as he describes it. And then Baldur comes to visit him again. And that's when we find out that Quimby is dead, that the soldiers killed him. And before anyone could really do anything, the Razak stole his body.
Yeah, it was, it's like they were bothering Tara last night. Tara's Morn's wife. Don't know who Morn is. She runs the inn.
Yeah, Morn runs the inn.
They were at the inn getting drunk. And when Quimby was like, knock it off, they threw
a pitcher
at him.
And hit his temple.
And just killed him instantly. So they weren't trying to kill him.
Yeah.
But they did kill him.
And
then the Razak took his body.
They took his body and then they tried to get it back last night. And so Roran's like, I saw and we saw. We're like, okay, that's what that was. And then in the morning, I can't remember Baldur's dad, the smith.
Yep. We love him.
We love him. I cannot remember his name.
He mentioned at the end of the chapter. I'll pop back here and find it.
Horst.
Hey, we did it together
at the same time. Horst and Loring, I can't remember who Loring is, met with the Razak today and managed to convince them to release the body. And then
the soldiers won't face any consequences.
Yep, soldiers won't face any consequences. I was about to leave when Quimby was handed over. You know what his wife got? Bones. Every one of them was nibbled clean. You could see the bite marks, and most had been cracked open for the marrow.
It's just horrifying. And then, of course, like the disgust Roran experiences, the horror for his fate. It is well known that a person's spirit could never rest until his body was given a proper burial.
And then
desecration.
Yeah, revolted by the desecration. He asked, who ate them? And then what's interesting here is the soldiers were just as appalled. It must have been the Razak. And it's like interesting that the Razak or that the soldiers also fear the Razak.
Yeah.
Which is probably what keeps them in line.
Exactly, right? Like there's just two of them. It's like this is where we get very, very clearly the Razak are not human. This is not, and they're not shades.
Yes.
Right? Like they're not a sorcerer possessed by spirits. They are
something
inhuman.
Else.
There's something else entirely.
Yep. And then
it's
and so really gross. And for me, it's like I have a weird thing with like being eaten alive. Like I can't do zombie movies. I can't really do anything. So my only like solace in any of this is I'm like, at least he was already dead.
At least
he was already dead. I don't have to think about anything else. I'm not gonna think about it.
And I like here, so it's Baldur again.
Yeah.
He doesn't suggest that Roran give himself up.
Nope, not right now.
No, he doesn't.
Nope.
It's not a thing that's on the table. It was before when someone could be threatened, but now like someone is dead and desecrated.
Yes.
The Balder doesn't say you should give herself up.
Yep.
Because I think it's like, ooh, no, if this is what they would do, the soldiers aren't facing consequences for killing a man. The Razak devoured his body.
Yes.
Like, this is still bad, but the allies do not recommend Roran give himself up. But that's the other thing Roran thinks. He's like, should I do it? He's like, well, after what they did to Quimby, like I would rather run and die in the woods before giving myself to them.
Yep. And what I do like about how that visit ends is, he goes, for all the stories of Galbatorix's misdeeds, it was still a shock to have the king's evil roosted among their homes. A sense of history settled on Roran as he realized he was involved with forces he had previously been acquainted with only through song and stories. Something should be done, he muttered, which I love.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
He's like, but what? It's like, it's so...
Yeah. It's a very real feeling, I think, especially with someone in that position.
That night he wakes up from smoke.
Yep, that night he wakes up in smoke and realizes that... I like how he calls it... Carvahal's hay barn glowed white in a cyclone of flames, transforming its precious contents into a fountain of amber motes.
Yeah.
Roran, and then I like this, Roran trembled as he watched the destruction of the town's feed. And that's like, ooh, that's really bad. It's really
so bad. No, it's so bad. I thought, I couldn't remember what happened, but when he woke up from the smoke, I was like, oh shoot, are they like burning the woods to try to burn him out?
That's what I was thinking too.
But it's not. It's like the hay barn and the feed and the things they need to survive. And then 2 other
houses catch fire too while he's watching.
And he wants to go help, but he can't force himself to abandon his own safety, which like, yeah, fair.
Yeah, and I like the last line of like that is, aghast Roran could only avert his face, hating himself for his cowardice. And I'm always like, Roran, dude, like, I don't blame you, dude.
Who would do what?
Yeah.
And he's so afraid, like, was it the soldiers? Was it an accident? Are they punishing the villagers? Is this my fault? The next day, Baldur's brother, Albrecht, rolls up. And he's like, hey, what happened? And first he's like, hey, come with me. And Roran's like, wait, are they going to give me up? He's like, no.
And he goes, I'm going to fight to not do that. Yeah. But
the soldiers started the fire. Morn banned them from the 7 sheaves, but they still got drunk on their own beer. One of them dropped his torch against the hay barn on his way to bed. No one died. There was a few burns. But also, like, we tried to negotiate with the Razak. They spat on our request that the Empire replace our losses and the guilty face justice. They even refused to confine the soldiers to their tents.
Yep.
And so it's the horrific things that have happened, like Quimby dying and being devoured, the barn, the hay burning, these houses burning. Those were not because they were keeping Roran hidden. Like, in a way they were. If they had turned him in immediately, they would have left and these things wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But they actually were not like the Razak and the soldiers escalating to try to force the villagers to cooperate.
Yeah.
They just demonstrate the complete lack of respect.
Yep.
The total disdain. But not even wanton. It was a careless accident. Like, Quimby's death was a careless accident because this soldier threw a pitcher at him. And the barn was an accident because this soldier just dropped a torch.
Yeah.
And accident or not, they had terrible consequences that these villagers are not being like compensated for. The soldiers are not being punished for because these villagers mean nothing to the Empire. They mean less than nothing to the Empire.
So I actually had this thought just now. While you were reading all that and like saying what you were saying, if you think about it, we've mentioned before that Carvahal is very outside of the Empire's like control and influence. Like, they're still part of it, but they're so out of it, they've never really had to deal with any of this before. Whereas in like the other cities and towns that have to deal with this, is the Razak and the soldiers have probably done this to every fucking village on the way up. That they've done this. They're just like, oh yeah, we do whatever we want because everyone fears Galbatorix and they don't want to retaliate against us. And blah 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 blah. But because Carvahal is so out of place, they're doing the same thing, thinking they're so scared they're not going to do anything in return. And that's why they're caught so off guard, because they didn't actually think that Carvahal would react this way.
Yeah, they're so used to being able to kick stray dogs, they thought none would ever bite, and then they kicked a wolf.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
And it's also like the demonstrating like the Empire doesn't care about Carvahal.
Absolutely
like
not.
Because there's if they were in like a bustle, if they were in that port town,
Tiram,
I
think,
that we went to, where there is like wealth right and things coming in, the soldiers would be shitty.
Yes.
But I bet they wouldn't be allowed to get away with
this.
burning
yes,
it,
burning
right? With
anything.
killing
yes,
the brewer who makes money
yes.
in the space and pays taxes to the Empire.
Yes.
Like, Carvajal is not valuable to the Empire, and therefore the Empire taxes him, doesn't protect him in hard times, but is worth less. Honestly, if Carvajal wasn't there, they would probably be more profitable for the Empire.
Yep.
If Carvajal just wasn't there.
Yep.
And that's like just to show like it is the villagers decide to fight back, not just for Roran, because as Horse says, like,
and I do like that. I do like how Roran's like, for me, and they're like, no, it's not just you, and I really like that.
Yeah, the line. He's like, it's like we're gonna fight them back. You need hammer and tongs because we need you to help remove the Razak. You do this for me. We're not risking our lives for your sake alone. This concerns the entire village now.
Yep.
And then we get to like we see like the people who are there, and then one of them says like, "This is crazy. Like we should."
That's in the next chapter.
That's in the next chapter. Okay, but they're like, "What if they send back forces?" And it's like, we can't defeat the entire empire. No, but neither can we stand silent and allow soldiers to kill us and destroy our property. A man can only endure so much abuse before he must strike back. Yeah, Horse is a blacksmith, and he's like, listen, well, we're good citizens of the Empire.
Yeah,
we don't ask for a lot. We don't expect a lot. We're just minding our own business, and the Empire has demonstrated they do not care about us. These aren't even attacks of malicious to try to force compliance. They are just disregard for consequence.
And honestly, because like the people of Carvajal and Rowan have no idea what.
They don't even know why this is happening.
But we do. And I think that's a point. Another point is that they don't care of Carvajal because the more damage and death they cause, it hurts Eragon.
Yeah, if Eragon finds out what happened, like that's even more of a benefit to be like,
that's probably another factor as why they just don't care. They
also demonstrates that they don't fear retaliation even from Eragon.
Yeah.
A rider who's aligned himself with the Varden, like, yeah, we'll just do whatever. And if they're not even afraid of Eragon finding out and seeking his own revenge. Yeah. Like, they don't care.
They don't care at all.
And yeah, I love, also, we've got this old man who is crazy.
I love him.
Lauren,
He's
great. Threw back his head so the flame gilded the stumps of his teeth. First we fortify, then we fight. We will make them regret they ever clapped their festering eyes on Carvajal. Ha ha! Dude's, yeah, man. And we see him later in the fight, and he's just like running around laughing.
He's laughing, poking people with a
this old man
pitchfork.
has just like,
I love this old man.
Waiting for he's just been sitting by the rock. His bones have hurt for years. Yeah. He's not been able to do. He used to do like I bet he used to do like strong, heavy farm work for years. He just can't do it anymore. Now he's just like, if this is I go out, this is how I go. Right? I'm gonna defend Carvajal. I've lived here forever. My father lived here forever. His father lived here forever.
Yep. I love that so much. But then we move into the next chapter,
Retaliation,
and it begins with them all picking out weapons. And I do like Roran.
Yes, I was gonna say you mentioned this before we started recording. Like, please go on.
Yeah, where he talks about they're picking out weapons, as I said, and Roran hefted a pick, then set it aside. Though he had never cared for Brahms stories, one of them, the Song of Grand? I don't know.
Girand.
Song of Girand. I think it's Girand. Song of Girand resonated with him whenever he heard it. It told of Girand, the greatest warrior of his time, who relinquished his sword for a wife and farm. Side note, that is so fucking fitting.
Interesting.
Roran.
Just wants a wife and farm? Interesting.
He found no peace, however, as a jealous lord initiated a blood feud against Girand's family, which forced him, I'm just going to say him because I don't want to say his name again, which forced him to kill once more. Yet he did not fight with his blade, but with a simple hammer. Going to the wall, Roran removed a medium-sized hammer with a long handle and a rounded blade on one side of the head. He tossed it from hand to hand, then went to Horse and asked, "May I have this?" And I do like that Horse does not say, "It suits you well." I'm very glad he doesn't say that. He just, Horse eyed the tool and Roran, use it wisely. And I prefer that.
Yeah, this isn't Destiny. This isn't, it's not a prequel where the hero picks up their weapon for the first time. It's just, but I love that it's Brahm. Yeah. And it's story. It's a story about someone who wanted to live a peaceful life and someone else's cruelty is denying them of it. Like,
I'm getting chills, and it's not because of the AC.
No, it's maybe a little because of the AC?
No, it's not because of the AC. It's literally because of just what you were saying. Like, I'm just like, oh, it's so good.
No, it's so good. It's so good. And I like that. Like, listen, Roran is not Eragon, who was swept up in every single story. But there was the one that resonated with him. Because there's always a story that's going to resonate with someone.
For sure.
And this one of also, he like didn't fight with a blade, but with a hammer. And he's like, that's who I have to be right now. Like, I just want peace. And this awful force is not letting me have what I deserve. Like, he's like, I'm not doing anything harmful. Like, this greatest warrior who was willing to relinquish violence to have a peaceful life was denied that because of someone else. And so I like him getting the hammer. I like him thinking about Brom's storytelling. I like this old story being the thing that like Roran is finding inspiration and direction in.
Yeah. Because it's like he's probably never wielded a weapon in his entire life. No. But that rings for him. So he's like, I'm going to go with this.
I'm going to go with this and remember what I'm doing this
Yes, for sure.
And then Horse is like, listen, we want to scare, not kill. Break a few bones if you want, but don't get carried away. And whatever you do, don't stand and fight. No matter how brave and heroic you feel, remember that they are trained soldiers. And I like that too, because it's like, let's not kid ourselves with what's happening here. Like, we are hoping we're doing a night ambush to take them by surprise.
Yep.
But like, we are not gonna win in an actual fight. We are villagers. Like, these are soldiers who have been trained to kill people.
Yep.
And I like Horse is like being practical.
Yeah, and he's like, please remember, these are trained soldiers.
And it works. They run and they're able to scare them off.
Yep. Also, can you imagine Horst running at you?
So
big. Like, I would be like, oh no, I'm good. I'm all good.
He's a big guy. I like Roran barely noticed Loring dancing past. The old man cackled and hooted in the night as he jabbed soldiers with a pickpocket.
Yep. I also really like once it was all over, not Eragon. Roran goes over to Horse, and the smith was grinning under his beard. That's the best brawl I've had in years, and I love that so much.
But then I also like it takes a turn so quick because we find Norfavel, who is Nolfavrel.
Yeah, Nolfavrel.
Who is Quimby's son. And he's like 13.
Yep.
He's kneeling by the body of a soldier, methodically stabbing him in the chest as tears slid down his chin. And Roran's like, he shouldn't have come. Horse shrugged. It was his rights. All the same, killing one of the Razek's men will only make it harder to rid ourselves of the desecrators.
Yep.
It's like, God, this kid's 13 and he killed a man. Probably not the man who actually killed his father.
Yep.
Because how would he even find that guy in the dark? Although maybe he is. It's not specified. We don't know. Maybe it is the same guy. But like, can you blame him? And then his mom later is like, yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
A strong voice came from Bridget, an auburn-haired woman who clasped Norvahel against her bosom, ignoring the blood smeared across his face. They deserve to die like cowards for my husband's death. Fuck yeah, they do, Bridget.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, they do.
Bridget's great. And like, I like how there's like all the other some of the other villagers come in town, and they're like, what happened? And they're like, we did that. And they're like, do you have any right to do that? And this person named Thames, like, then why did you attack? Who gave you the authority to make this decision? You've doomed us all. And this time Bridget answered, would you let them kill your wife? She pressed her hands on either side of her son's face, then showed Thane her bloody palms like an accusation. Would you let them burn us? Where is your manhood, loam breaker?
Yeah.
And he lowered his gaze, unable to face her stark expression. And Rowan kind of solidifies. They burned my farm. They devoured Quimby and nearly destroyed Carvajal. Such crimes cannot go unpunished. Are we frightened rabbits to cower down and accept our fate? No, we have a right to defend ourselves. And then, like, we can debate later. Now we have to prepare. Who will help us? Yeah, and a bunch of them are like, all right, let's do it.
The dragon wagons are fortifying the village so they can't get in that easily. I do like, so just before Thane is like, this is crazy, you shouldn't have done this.
Yep.
Sloane decides he's going to get fucking involved.
Yes.
They're like, have you got man-horsed? Even if you frighten off the Razek and their soldiers, Galbatork will send more. The Empire will never give up until they get Roran. We should hand him over, snarled Sloane. Horst raised his hands. I agree. No one is worth more than all of Carvajal. But if we surrender Roran, do you really think Galbatorix will let us escape punishment for our resistance? In his eyes, we're no better than the Varden.
Yep.
And we know that's 100% true.
Yep.
And the fact that it's not even like them attacking the soldiers. It's the fact that they resisted at all.
Yep.
We'll hand them over now. They'll know you resisted. Like, they're gonna, if you hand over Roran now, the soldiers will probably just burn the village on purpose.
Yep.
Like, they know, they're like, yeah, right, this one guy is not worth putting us whole at risk.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, we are already at risk because they do not care for us.
Yes.
We have to care for ourselves.
Yep.
Roran running around, hurried from chore to chore. He's like helping everybody.
Yes.
And Katrina waylaid him in the alley. She hugged him and said, I'm glad you're back and that you're safe. He kissed her lightly. Katrina, I have to speak to you as soon as we are finished. She smiled uncertainly, but with a spark of hope. You were right. It is foolish of me to delay. Every moment we spend together is precious, and I have no desire to squander what time we have when a whim of fate could tear us apart. My guy. I love that we're still circled back to, like, again, it's important because the song he's inspired by is one about a guy who just wants to get married and be on a farm.
Yep.
So in this moment, it's not like I'm rallying because I'm going to fight back. I'm like, right, I just want to propose to my girlfriend and have a farm.
That's all he wants. He
Also,
wants to have a family and have a farm.
I don't think anyone will blame me for going past tradition when Sloane was literally, like, publicly ready to sell me out to the Razak
For
right
sure.
now. I don't think anyone's gonna be like, wow, I can't believe he didn't ask Sloane's permission before proposing to Katrina. Like, I think everyone's gonna be pretty cool with that after this.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's
for
like,
sure.
he's also like, right, like, I don't care. Like, things are
Yeah.
against us. Everything, like, this, my world changed in an instant.
Yes.
I just want to propose to my girlfriend.
Yep. And it's also like, it is one of those things that have you realizing, oh, all of that bullcrap is literally just bullcrap.
Yeah, this is not
the
actually what
important
matters.
thing.
Like, when we could just be a village with our petty little,
Yeah.
like, gossips and feelings. Like,
Yes.
that's when we have to worry about those
Yes.
things. But now when
it's
the world
changed
is
everything.
bearing down our door,
Yep.
like, Roran knows what he wants, which is, I want to marry Katrina and have my farm.
Yep.
And it does, and he suddenly realizes the order of those events don't matter as long as
Yes.
they happen, and the thing I can make happen first is to marry Katrina.
Yep.
So he's ready to do so. Anyway, the Razak show back up.
Yep.
And they throw just like a fucking Molotov
Yep.
cocktail
And
or
this
something.
is like, and this is a
Magic, they cast Fireball.
Yeah, they do. And this is also a show of like, hey, they're really not human because they're a single Razak sitting on a horse far down the road, almost out of bowshot. The creature was illuminated by a torch in his left hand, while its right hand was drawn back as if to throw something. Rowan laughed. Is he going to toss rocks at us? He's too far away to even hit. He was cut off as the Razaks whipped his arm, and a glass veil arched across the distance between them and shattered against the wagon to his right. So, like, that is strength. Being able to throw at that distance and hit a target.
Yep. And then instantly our Fireball launched the wagon into the air, while a fist of burning air flung Roran against the wall.
Yep. And then so ensues a really big fight, and Roran has a point because they just come charging in and just start killing left and right, like not caring. They're going, and Roran knew they had to be stopped, else Carvajal would be taken. And then he takes charge, and he starts yelling, to me, defend your homes, which I get like kind of a little emotional about it because PMS, but also because I just think it's he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, but he knows together they're stronger.
Yes.
And so, because he even says, there are more of us. Stay together. There are more of us. And that's like, the thing is like.
And even like, the men are fighting from the side streets. Women and children pelted the soldiers with rocks.
Yep.
It's all
Everyone.
of Carvajal
It's
is rallying.
all of Carvajal is rallying to do this. And I like the soldiers halted as the line of villagers before them continued to thicken. With more than 100 men at his back, Roran slowly advanced. I'm getting all emotional again. You can hear it in my voice.
A single arrow whizzed towards Roran. He caught it on his shield and laughed. Laughed, he did.
Yes, he did. And
this is how folk heroes are born.
Yeah, it is. And I just love this because it's like Roran mentioned about like suddenly having this realization of history settling on him. And I'm like, yep,
yeah, you
for
don't know
sure.
what that means.
Like, you can see it. You can see the, like, even if we're not, I don't think it's like too, like, I don't think it's spoilery at all, but it's like these people will talk about this.
Yes.
We'll talk about how Roran is the one who helped band the villagers together. And even in the face of death and arrow, he laughed.
Like, exactly. Like, it feels like it would have been Horst.
Yes.
Like, because Horst is the blacksmith. He's the one that got them all together. Like, it could have been Horst, who was the hero of, and then not to say like, oh, hero of the night, but like, but in this moment, and not to say that Horst wasn't still fighting and wasn't calling, but in this moment, Roran had the presence of mind to call upon the villagers to me join together. It's not just he's like, keep fighting, push back.
Yeah.
It was, he recognized leadership.
Yes.
He recognized what it means when he called them all together. And I think that's the big thing that shifts Roran as a character going
Yes.
forward. I think not spoilers to say like this is not going to be the end of this. Like
Yes.
this is not going to be smooth sailing for
Yeah,
Carvajal. And Roran is entering this path of leadership and responsibility. He's not the farmer that lives outside of town.
Yep.
He is becoming he needs to care for this community.
Yep.
And the Razak tried to pull some fucking magic on
it's
him.
also and it's all that's what I was gonna say. His the starting of his legacy or legend or whatever you want to call it doesn't even start then because the Razak use their weird influence that Brahm told Eragon about in the first book because Eragon felt this too. They glared at the villagers from under their inky calls. Suddenly, Rowan felt himself become lethargic and powerless to move. It was hard to even think. Fatigue seemed to chain his arms and legs in place. And frickin' Burgett. Then from farther in Carvajal, Rowan heard a raw shout from Burgett. A second later, a rock hurtled over his head and bored towards the lead Razak, who twitched with supernatural speed to avoid the missile. The distraction, slight though it was, freed Rowan's mind from the soporific influence, which is a great word.
Great word. Is it a word that I feel like Roran
would
know? Because I didn't know that word.
No.
Also, he describes it as like the tattoo of galloping horses. Great word. I'm not saying that's being used wrong. It just also is like.
Do you know how do you know a tattoo?
Yeah. It's like, I'm not familiar with it being used in this context, but great.
Yep.
Soporific. Great.
Yep.
Strong descriptor. Again, we do have the whole, like, I don't think Roran is stupid. And I think if he's heard this word and adopted it in his vocabulary, that's totally fine. But it's just, again, I just feel like Paolini knows a lot of cool words that are useful and strong descriptors. And it's just like, okay, who is our narrator then? I feel like that's the thing I have about sometimes when it's like, am I in this character's head and they're telling me, or am I in someone else's head and they're telling me?
Yeah.
And I think at this point, I just have to let it go because it's like we're not in Roran's head. Yeah. We're in someone else's head.
Like if Brahm was telling the story.
Yes. It is like, oh, I kind of love that. Is Brahm the one telling us this story?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, why not? And I think if we accept that, we can stop being like, I don't feel like this word was well. Because it's not. I think that's another thing. It's like sometimes when we do multiple POVs or we as storytellers, you can decide how much is going to be like when you're describing a scene, is it the way this character would describe it? And if it's not, then that's because it's not this character describing it. It's the narrator telling you about it. And the narrator just happens to know what the character was thinking.
Yeah.
This is not Roran telling us about his experiences. Yeah. This is the narrator telling us what happened and what Roran was feeling when it did happen. And so when we have these big SAT words that we feel like, hey, Roran wouldn't have encountered this word. It's because it's not Roran telling us the story. It's not actually Eragon telling us the story. It is someone else.
Yep.
And I like, for the running bit of our show, if it's Brahm.
Yes.
And I think if we can all accept, are we all on the same page, dear listeners? Yeah? Okay. I think it's Brahm.
I think it's Brahm.
Because that makes me happy.
Yeah.
I think it's Brahm from the other side of the veil, making sure he was a storyteller for many years. And I think Brahm was always a storyteller at heart, even when he was a dragon rider. I think he was the one telling stories.
For sure.
We don't know this for sure. I'm not sure we've got like a canonical, like, this is what Brahm was like when he was a young dragon rider.
Yeah.
But like, I'd like to think he was.
Yeah.
So Brahm is the one telling us the story. So that's going to free us. Because I think this is going to keep happening.
Yeah.
And I think
so too. We're just going to be like, what? Word?
It's not Roran describing the situation to us.
Yeah.
It is omniscient, like it's limited third person narration where they don't know what's going on in everyone's head. They just know what's going on in Roran's head, but they do see the full thing.
Yep, for sure.
So,
but then
Bridget distracts them. It frees it. Was it just Roran, or do you think it was like everyone?
I think it's everyone, but it's enough to free him specifically, I think. Or if it dropped on everyone else, Roran is the first one to act on it. And he grasped, I like this, he dropped the shield, grasped his hammer with both hands, and raised it far above his head, just like Horst did when spreading metal. Which I like,
because he just thinks about...
Roran is thinking about Horst.
He's watched what Horst has done.
Yes. Roran went up on tiptoe, his entire body bowed backward, then whipped his arms down with a huh! The hammer cartwheeled through the air and bounced off the Razak's shield, leaving a formidable dent.
That's right. Okay, and it's them two attacks were enough to disrupt the last of the Razak's power.
Yep.
They clicked rapidly to each other as the villagers roared and marched forward. So it was everybody, but that Bridget's actions freed Roran, and he was able to free the rest of them.
And then again, adding to his freaking legacy, man. Because out of all of them, he was Bridget and him were the only ones that were able to react from this.
And yeah, and I love it's like Bridget, whose husband was devoured by these monsters, desecrated.
Sure.
His spirit, to what they believe is his spirit will never rest.
Yes,
she will never be able to lay her husband to rest. She will never reunite with him in the next world. So of course she is like filled with such rage, and maybe she was too far back for the magic to impact her, and that's why she was able to do this. Or maybe so. I love that, and I love Roran taking that advantage, and then they are outnumbered, and the Razak do have the soldiers retreat.
And then
Roran retrieves his hammer.
He gets his hammer. And then
Par and 9 other men. So 10 have been lost that night.
And then a little bit later, they go back to like the village middle of the road, and Razak sat beetle-like on a horse only 20 yards away. The creature crooked a finger at Rowan and said, You smell like your cousin. We never forget to smell. Which is fucking creepy. It is so creepy.
So unsettling.
And that was another thing where it was like, how could they tell Rowan apart from all of them? And there it is. They're
it's not
human.
like they have a photograph. And it's like, I'm sure Eragon and Roran look alike, but like as much as like cousins look alike. Like they, And I love, it's like, and we talked about this. Like, what do you want? Why are you here?
And then do you want to read that, or do you want me to read?
I kind of want to do the Razak voice.
Yeah, go ahead, do it.
We want information. Release Roran, and you shall be sold as slaves. Protect him, and we will eat you all. We shall have your answer next we come. Be sure it is the right one.
Creepy. And that's where the chapter ends.
Damn, Paulini.
So, like, holy shit.
Man, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this next chapter. Oh, my God.
I think I do.
I'm sure you do. You listen to the audiobook.
Ashweldon Rock Anuin.
Wow, Lucy, that was great. That was so smooth.
I will admit.
Lucy, can you read the old language? The ancient language?
Know. I've these chapters I've re-listened to several times now because I keep going ahead and then I'm like, wait, we're gonna talk about it, so now I gotta re-listen to them again. So I've re-listened to this chapter several times at this point.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But that was grand, like I said, the stuff of folktales type adventure.
Yes, for sure.
But it's like, we know it's not over.
Nope, not.
And that this ultimatum, this horrible ultimatum.
Yeah,
not even horrible in the fact that if you give Roran up, you will be left in peace.
Yeah.
Like
it's too bad.
There is no going back to the way life was for Carvajal.
At all. And I think like that's another thing too, is like I do think again they're trying to be like poke at Eragon, being like they're either all gonna die or they're all gonna be sold as slaves, and you can do nothing about it.
And that just circles back to like how the Empire doesn't care about its people.
Yep,
the fact that
sure.
You'll just be sold into slavery to someone else. Like the fact that slavery is like said like, oh, it's illegal, but it's not. And we saw it being practiced in like these outer parts of the Empire.
Yes,
but Carvajal is an outer part. Slavery is not practiced in Carvajal. It's not practiced in Palancar Valley. Yep. But the fact that this is just a threat that agents of the Empire are being willing to make.
Yep.
This is a bad regime.
Yep.
This is not just that Galbatorix overthrew a regime and just wants to consolidate power. In fact, this is a regime that doesn't care about its people.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Like he didn't want to be king because he thought he'd do a better job of it.
Yeah, no.
It's like Loki. It's like Scar. Yeah. It's like these characters, they just want to rule because they think they're entitled to power.
Yep.
But not because they actually want to do something like grand, right? No. It's not because they think they know what's best and are misguided or wrong or corrupt. Like they just
put
want
themselves above everyone.
Yeah,
because everyone is pointless and useless. And
aside, this is not me saying Scar and Loki are bad characters or just wanting power is a poor motivation for a character to have. It's very clearly not. It's just like the comparison of like how wretched and awful and Carvajal fully realizing it. Like they know Galbatorix is evil, right? Or a bad leader, and they can't rely on him.
And no one was really a fan in Carvajal. No one was a really big fan of the
right?
Anyway.
But like, and now to see that they mean nothing, that they'll, even if they do what they are told, they will not be rewarded for it. They will continue to be like disregarded.
Yep.
And I think that is what we're seeing, where it's like, it is not enough if we have Eragon and the Varden fighting for the Empire. We need the Empire itself to be able to start to push back against Galbatorix and truly recognize like the depth of, this is not right for us. This is not how we should deserve to be treated when we are just trying to live our lives in peace. I think Carvajal is this focal point of where that is starting to happen. Because it's where Eragon is from.
For sure.
And if Eragon was from somewhere else, like one of these other villages that aren't more reliant on the Empire, like would they have fought back in the same way? And no, but that's why this is the story. And I think it's so interesting that we have come back to Carvajal.
I agree.
Not like as a side thing, but like we are back. We are following Roran because this story is taking place across a continent.
Yep, absolutely. And I do like that because it does give space.
Yes.
It is happening across the continent.
Mm-hmm. It will not just be, we'll follow Eragon. It won't be, we'll just follow Luke Skywalker across the Empire and then we'll see the rebels and we'll end it there. It's like, no, we're back on Tatooine. Like, it's like, what if we went back to Tatooine and saw like Luke's buddy be like, damn, this sucks. The Empire does not care about us. And we need to fight back and we need to like free these other planets and these other systems. Yep. And it's like, that's how the Clone Wars happened. So watch out, gang. But, but that is it. And that is like, again, there's a lot of comparisons to like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. For sure. But like, we don't, while Frodo and the gang and the Fellowship are like delivering the ring, we don't skip back to Hobbiton and see things going on. Like, that's not what. So while there are obviously a lot of justifiable comparisons, very clear influences, Paolini did create his own narrative, one that is distinct. And the fact that we come back to the home village so early, not just as a hero comes home and see that he himself has changed because of it, but that the events of what's going on here are demonstrating that you're not going to have one chosen one grand hero is going to save us all.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely.
All right. What is our writing takeaway?
I'm wondering if we should go off of kind of what you were saying about like narration.
Oh, yeah. Like consider, I mean, there are lots of narrative options. Yeah. So like consider the best one for the kind of story you want to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. Like or like if you're wanting to tell it, like if you're not in like first person, but you're wanting to tell it, so you're in third person, you still want to tell it in that person's perspective. Vocabulary is important. Like in my draft, I have multiple POVs, and I try very, and I it's just the thing. It's like it's just something like I wanted to do to help make it feel very distinct. Because often the characters are interacting within these scenes that the other POV characters are also in. So I want it to feel distinct, and the way I do that is I really think about how the character who is in control of, who are seeing it through their eyes, not just what they think or how they sound, but also like how they would describe things. Yes.
And it's like a character is from a tucked away hidden village where they only have magic.
Yeah.
Right? It's like Eastern European village. It's been hidden from the world for hundreds of years, and they literally only have magic. They don't have science.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know what plastic is. So when he's given a grocery bag full of new clothes, like he doesn't, it's like this really thin, like paper, like coarse paper like material that's definitely not paper, like he doesn't know what plastic is yet. And so it's like these descriptors like that, because if it was like just a third person, it could be like he was handed a plastic shopping bag and marveled at the strangeness of the texture. It could have been like that, but that's not how I want to do it. But that's not to say the alternative is wrong.
Yes, for sure.
It's just the kind of thing I want to tell. Is I think I'm aiming to tell a very, very character driven narrative. And to do so, I want the characters to feel like they are truly the ones telling the story.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's also a thing. Like, that's just me talking about, like, why am I doing it this way? And I feel like it is because of that. It's because I feel like the most interesting thing about what I'm telling is the characters in it. And so I want them to truly be, like, a focal point. And therefore, things like what is it? Sorific? Damn it.
It's a good freaking word.
It's a great word. I'm just
soporific.
Like soporific is not a word that like my Adeline, one of my protagonists, would use. But it's probably a word that Vasily, one of my protagonists, would use because he's read a ton of books in different languages and he loves to collect pieces of vocabulary. And these characters are not unintelligent, but he is very well read and well learned. So he's more likely to use words like that than Adeline, who will just fall back, say fuck. Is probably going to say fuck first.
For sure.
Or Val or anyone else. That's not the demon's name anymore. Oh my God. I cut that ages ago when it was too confusing to keep track of these two V-name characters. His name is Zim. The demon's name is Zim. It. Yeah, Z-Y-M.
I like that. I like that a lot.
It's short for Zim Ziminar.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
I was like, wow, that's such a dated, like that's not even a beta version of his character. It's like an alpha version of his character. But yeah, I have a side quest idea.
Yes, go ahead.
I would love, since we spent so much time talking about words and vocab and things like that. Do you, dear listeners, have a word that you learned from reading or, playing a game or watching a movie that you remember the first time you encountered this word and were like, I like it. I'm going to keep it.
Okay. I have one.
You have one? Good, because I have one too. Go on.
I don't know from that other freaking wizard bullshit.
Read Witchlings by Carol.
So I used to read every freaking summer on my summer break, elementary school, middle school, what the fuck ever. Gross. Anyway.
Listen, those memories aren't gross.
Yes. Memories aren't gross.
The transphobic billionaire who decides to attack vulnerable populations on Instagram or on Twitter, and also just ace people who are. I'm sitting here trying to live my goddamn life. Not that trans people aren't also doing that, but like really, you're going out of your way to broaden your net.
Sitting over here minding our own damn business. Like what? Anyway.
So that thing.
There was a moment when my family. We had a bee. Like on one of like the underarching, what the fuck are the rain gutters? There's a little beehive right there. And my dad was out there killing
beehive
the wasps.
Or wasp nest.
Yeah.
Wasp nest, not a
little
beehive.
Wasp nest. Yes. Sorry. Not bees, wasps. And my dad is sitting out there with wasp killer, getting them all. And I was on top of a ladder, and I don't know why. I was on top of a ladder looking at this bee that had flown on top of the roof. And it was just chilling on the roof, and it was like wiggling around because my dad just sprayed it. And I was
a wasp, not a bee.
And yes, wasp. Sorry, I keep saying bee. Every time I say bee, I do mean wasp. I wanted bees are great, wasps awful.
Or just full of hate.
Yes. So this wasp is just like freaking out, and I was on there, and I was young. I don't remember how old I was, but I was trying to describe what it was doing to my parents, and I was like, it's writhing. It's writhing. And my parents were like, how do you know that word? And I'm like, I read a lot. Like, and so that for me was like a very like me knowing what writhing was.
Yeah.
And my parents being completely baffled that I knew what that meant.
Listen, reading is important. Yes. You learn great words. For me, it's roof. I have two. I have ruefully, which I remember the first time was in Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice.
Ooh, yes.
And it is after Elizabeth Bennet has learned the truth about Mr. Darcy and Wickham.
Yeah.
And how shady this mofo actually is.
Yeah.
And so the next time they interact at a party and Mr. Wickham comes up to try to talk to her, and she's just like, nah, and like sends him, and she's like, yep. Keep walk. Basically, she's like, keep walking. Don't ever come my way again. She says ruefully, or she thinks ruefully.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And then another one. And I'm sure there are lots and lots of words that I picked up and didn't realize, but for some reason this one, and then vehemently is one from the Heroes of Olympus books by Rick Riordan. There's a point where a character's just like, I think it was Frank, just said something or did something so vehemently. Yeah. And I was like, or vehemently.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, that's a great, what does that mean?
Yeah,
that's a great
it's
word.
A great word.
Putting that in there too.
Yeah, there's sometimes words just stick to you and you're like, that's a really good word.
I'm going to put that.
Yeah.
Just like the moment you decide like, that's great. You just like feels like you're collecting a little gem for your treasure. Like the vocabulary
like, that's
chest.
me with soporific, honestly.
Soporific is a really solid word.
I love that word.
What does soporific mean, you think?
I think it means like hypnotic, like you're in a stupor.
Oh,
something like that.
Tending to induce drowsiness or sleep.
Yep.
From Oxford Language Dictionary.
Yep.
Yeah, soporific is great. Yeah, words are great. And finding great words are great. I'm sure there's lots of other times where I'm like, that's a good word. I'm just going to put that in the vocab chest. Let's just put that in the little toolkit.
So you got a little chest in the brain, and we're just going to file that away.
That gem away. That one's great. So yeah, side quest for this week. We would love to hear some of your favorite vocab words you learned from interacting with media, because we learned a lot of vocab words doing vocab tests. And they are important because they allowed us to like communicate more strongly.
Yes.
But they don't feel fun to have learned like perseverance in 6th grade by reading stories about Mount Everest climbs. Like, I know what perseverance means because I remember that's how I learned it. But that doesn't feel as fun as talking about Lizzie Bennet telling Mr. Wickham to fuck off.
Yep. I honestly, like, I'm trying to remember any of the words. I was such a bad speller. I'm still a bad speller. Thank you, editors. And
hey, shout out to editors.
Shout out to editors.
Shout out
Thank
to editors.
So much.
We love you so much.
Autocorrect, for real.
Honestly, listen, AI sucks, but we can recognize that there are tools we have learned that are artificially designed to do that pattern recognition.
Yes.
And autocorrect clocking, hey, I don't recognize this word because it's not in my internal dictionary, helps so awful lot. But then I go through as the human being, I thought about this a lot recently, I was using autocorrect, but I get to go through and identify the option and find the right version. I'm not just trusting it to correct, because sometimes I spell things so wrong that it's like,
it's bad.
Or it only has the wrong options because I spelled a word, so why could you spell it's like, hey, you spelled responsibly so wrong that I think you mean recession. It's like, that's on me. I was typing too fast.
I will say, I can't remember the word it was, but autocorrect has helped me spell a word correctly. I can't remember what the word is, but I spelled it wrong so many times. I got mad at myself, and so then I was like, no, I'm going to spell it right. So then I just spell it right all the time now. I don't remember what it is. I do remember there is a word.
Restaurant is one for me.
Restaurant,
yeah. I will. If you give me time, I'll spell it right, but I spell that one wrong so often. Have you ever spelled a word so wrong and autocorrect can't help you because it's like, I don't know what you want?
Yeah.
You kind of have to Google it to see if like maybe Google will be able to tell you if you can find it that way.
Yep, been there for sure.
So that's your side quest. Tell us the favorite word you've learned from media. Also, if you have a word that you're just like, I always spell this one so wrong that not even autocorrect can help me.
Yep.
Thank you all so much. So much. Sorry. Thank you all so very, very much.
Yes, thank you.
We are excited. I sat down and I went through all the POVs in the book so we could make sure that we're like keeping chapters together so they're not like super short in like the previous episode. So I know like all the POV chunks we have, and there were some that I'm like, I forgot we're gonna get this.
Oh yeah.
So really excited. Because this is like things have popped off. Oh my gosh, like things are happening in Carvajal. Things are happening with Eric. We're gonna go see the elves. Oh my gosh, Carvajal's gonna go through it. Things are gonna be bad, gang.
Yeah.
But like it's for our enjoyment. Isn't that messed up?
Yeah.
These people are gonna suffer so hard because we get to have a fun story.
Yep.
Yikes. I get how the Watcher would feel in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I gotta go. I'm so hungry.
Yeah,
I'd like
I'm
to eat
really
some
tired.
food. So until next time, well, I guess, obviously hit us up on Instagram.
Yep.
For those responses. You can send us an email, talk to us on Spotify.
Absolutely. All the things.
We had a little bit of spoilery conversations during this episode, which you didn't listen to here, but if you do want to hear it, you can go check it out over on patreon.com/EABI.
Woo.
Any of the outtakes.
EABI,
EABA, Eragon and back again. Over there, that's where we put outtakes, usually cat shenanigans, any fun spoilery conversations that we have that are in line with themes here, but we're not going to talk about it yet because we're spoiler-free podcast. Over there, also bonus episodes.
Yep.
If you want to join us in the Dragon's Keep,
yes,
we've got some fun episodes spanning from How to Train Your Dragon and McCaffrey's Dragon Flight to The Reluctant Dragon and also Sleeping Beauty.
Yep.
You know why those are funny.
Fun time.
And all that is available to you if you would like. But honestly, just spending your time with us today was gift enough in the entire world.
Absolutely. For sure.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And until next time, she is Lucy Hart.
And she's Darien Smartt.
And this was Eragon.
And back again.